Olaleye, and I am the convener of this initiative, and I'll be your host for today's session. First of all, thank you so much for taking out time to join us. It honestly means a lot to see that there are people who are interested in intentionally developing themselves professionally and academically. Before we begin, I would like to walk us through a bit of backstory on how figuring out career came to life, FOC for short. Figuring out career was born from a simple realization, and this is also connected to a conversation I had with a speaker for today some time back. A lot of talented people have the potential, skills, and ambition, but not most of them always have access to the right guidance, structure, or information to properly position themselves for opportunities. And that is what this series aims to solve. Create a space where people can learn from professionals who have walked this path successfully. And for today's session, we'll be focusing on mastering your CV, academic, and professional, which is going to be handled by Dr. Olayinka. But before we begin, please, here's a few quick housekeeping guidelines that I would like us to take note of. Please keep your microphones muted during the session. You're going to be given permission to speak during the Q&A session. There's going to be a Q&A segment towards the end of the session where you can ask your questions. And you can also drop your questions in the chat box throughout the session, just so that you don't forget something that you want to ask. Maybe the speaker is talking on something that you feel like you have a question on. Please feel free to drop it in the comment section. We're going to have Lua to see helping us moderate the comment section. So all your questions will definitely be noted and hopefully responded to. And would also like to let you know that this session will be recorded for learning purposes. So now to the host and convener introduction. Our host and convener is Ms. Olabisi Olaleye, and she is a senior data analyst, mentor, and the founder and convener of Figuring Out Career. She has built a career across organizations including FCMB, Adoga Resources, and One Call 365, where she currently works, and she's helping businesses leverage data and business intelligence to make informed decisions. Beyond Olabisi's professional work, she has served as a data analysis coach with Quantum Analytics, for some of us who have read about it, and Swift Profile, their tech academies, where she has supported aspiring data professionals in building practical analytics skills and also helping them navigate their journeys. She has also mentored students, young professionals, and women who are seeking to position themselves for professional opportunities. Through figuring out career, she's creating a platform that connects people with practical guidance, mentorship, and opportunities to help them navigate the academic and professional journeys. Please let's give a round of applause for our host and convener in the person of Ms. Olabisi Olaleye. Now to our speaker introduction, Dr. Olayinka Ajayi. He's a researcher at the University of Sussex. His work sits at the intersection of mathematics, artificial intelligence, and real-world systems. Dr. Olayinka recently completed his PhD at the University of Warwick. He is a recipient of the PCDF, Commonwealth, and EPSRC scholarship and grants, among others. You cannot see that I'm blushing as I am introducing the speaker. Like this is very commendable. Beyond research, Dr. Olayinka is passionate about mentoring students and early career professionals through academic mentoring, career coaching, scholarship guidance, and CV reviews. He has supported numerous individuals in positioning themselves for postgraduate studies, research opportunities, internship, and professional roles across different sectors. Yes, I'm a beneficiary. Yes. He volunteers with several charities, including Christad Foundation, HTEYU, we can see the logo here, and AAUTME Support Fund. is loved and happily married to Mrs. Moturayo Ajayi. Clock it. That part is very necessary. Please let's give a round of applause for our speaker for today, Dr. Olayinka Ajayi, as I hand over the session to him. A round of applause for Dr. Olayinka. Thank you, Tito. Thank you, Yaya. Thank you, Oluwatosi. Thank you, everyone. Hi, Dr. Olayinka. Please, you can take over the session now. Thank you. I'll
Oh,
just stop sharing my screen.
okay. Thank you very much, Olabisi. Uh, I felt that that introduction you overflogged it, you know, and the
No,
expectations might be set too high for the participants, but hopefully we can make the most of this session. So, thank you everyone once again. Olabisi, do you want to stop sharing your screen first before so I can have access to share my screen?
yes, I'm
All
doing
right, thank you
that.
very much. Okay,
Yes.
so there are some persons in the waiting room. We can let them in as we progress. So, everyone, good afternoon once again, or good evening, whatever your time is. I would be sharing my screen and I would walk you through most of the stuff I have out already. Do let me know if you can see my screen so that I know that we're on the same page. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay.
I can
Uh,
see your screen.
all right. So this is the timeline of our conversation. Um, we would go through the CV mastery between now and 5:50. It shouldn't take that long, actually. I'll walk you guys through a structured guide of what to put in your CV, what to not do in your CV, how to prepare your CV. Most of the nitty-gritty, we will do a live CV review, and then we would have a Q&A session. And just as Olabisi earlier pointed out, it is nice if you have any questions in the meantime, you can always include them in the chat. But if you have a pressing question or anything that probably would get at your neck, you can't wait till that session is over, you can interrupt me as needed, and as necessary, I would respond to your question. So before we go further, I would like to share you guys a copy of the very first CV that I created. That's the very first CV I made. And the reason why I would do that is so that you understand that nothing comes fully formed. Okay. So even I, who, is showing you guys this whole CV and stuff like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that, I had it all figured out from the very first day. Can you see my screen where I'm sharing on that CV? Can you see my screen? Is anybody speaking?
Yes, I can see it.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. I almost fainted. I was like, oh, is there a network glitch? Is there a technical glitch? All right. So this was the very first CV I made. So you can see here, I had on this CV, my name, everything is in all cap locks, everything uppercase. I have two email addresses here, Gmail, Yahoo Mail. I have my full address. I have two phone numbers. It's a lot of things. I had this career objective that looks nice, this educational qualification, very lengthy work experience. Trust me, this time I was actually looking for what's it called? I was looking for a place to do my IT when I drafted this CV. So compared to what I would expect on a CV now, this CV which I have here is subpar. It doesn't really meet most of the benchmarks of what I think should be included in a proper CV. So now that I've shown you guys this, right? So you know that it wasn't the very best. It did, of course, get me some opportunities, but it wasn't the very best. So now we'll go back to the main slide itself, and when I walk you through all that your CV is expected to contain, then we'll look at how my most recent CV looks like. Given all of these other things I will share with you. Okay, without further ado, let us proceed. In the application form, what most persons pointed out to be a common challenge with crafting a CV, or when it comes to CV, is how do they tailor it? How do they put forward their achievements? Oh, how should I structure it? I have no experience. What should I write? Professional summary. How should I put it so that once the HR sees it and they're like, oh, we have to take this guy, we have to take this girl. There's no way we must let this person go. Oh, I have so many work experience. Which one should I put forward? Okay, there's this particular job application I am seeing, and how do I write this CV to fit this particular job application? Some person says, oh, for automated tracking systems where some HR use 8 years of 8 years optimization, how can I design my CV such that it is suitable for this 8 years optimization? How do I write my CV such that I will be called for an interview? And then some would say, okay, technical skills. How do I, emphasize some of my technical skills? How do I craft them? Now, we just have 1.5 hour session, and the hope is that we can, we can cover this much in that 1.5 hour session. Now, what are your expectations? No, so a number of persons said, oh, they want to know how to format their CV. Some persons said they don't even have a CV at all. So how do I even go about it? Some other persons want to, of course, know how to optimize for 8 years. How do I present my projects? Oh, I want to apply for scholarships. How do I present my CV for scholarship? That's what I'm looking out for. That's what I want to get from this. Some other person says, oh, I'm job hunting. So my question is that I can use this CV to start my job hunting. Some person says, oh, I'm just finishing up with my undergraduate studies. So my suggestion is that after this session, I can go ahead and make a CV, right? Those are some of the expectations. And some other person wants to know how best they can, fill those experience gaps that they do not have. That's their expectation. So what do I have for you in this session? Now, this session, we are going to look at how you structure your CV properly. We will build a standard visual layout, like what would match general professional standards. That is, whether you're applying for a job here in Nigeria, here overseas, whether it's for scholarships, for admission, you would have a properly structured CV. A CV that is appealing to the eyes, right? So we'll decipher different types of CV, academics, professionals. I will present you clearly how you can put forward your experiences. And then we will tailor how you can put forward your achievements as well for international and domestic vacancies. And of course, what you need to avoid, the red flags, what you should not do. There are certain things you would include on your CV. Even before we even get to the part of your work experience or your educational qualifications, the HR individual would immediately just close that CV and go to the next candidate. So we'll look out for those red flags to avoid. Okay, so why your CV matters. I assume you can hear me before I go on. If you can hear me, just give a thumbs up or say something funny. Don't say something funny. Just give me a thumbs up so I know that you are with me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you very much.
Olayinka.
All right. So let's proceed. So why your CV matters. Think about it this way. You send your CV for a job application, right? Why would somebody look at your CV and what should they take away from it? What should you think about is, okay, this CV that I'm drafting, if I were to be the recruiter, like I'm somebody who is recruiting someone for this job or for this particular scholarship opportunity, and I see this CV someone sends in, why should I invite this person for an interview? That is the question you should ask yourself. If they look at your CV, can they answer that question? Can they say, oh, taking at the first glance at this particular person's CV, I can see why I need to invite this person for an interview? That is the first and important question. So if that is not the case, you want to make sure that once a person look at your CV, the first glance, within 30 seconds, they should be able to pick out the most important things, right? The part that is your name, the part that is your work experience. Now, the part that is your work experience that connects with that job that you're applying to, or for that particular scholarship opportunity you're applying to, you want to make sure that they can look at it and they can see that immediately, right? Now, one of the reasons why some CVs, some persons don't get feedback, or some persons just get rejected immediately for job applications is because your CV has a very terrible layout. I just look at it, I don't even know which part is the education, which part is work experience. There are no clear alignments. There are no clear separations between blocks. I don't know which part contains your education. I don't know which part contains your experience. I don't know which part contains your skills. Okay. And then some parts of your CV are very verbose. That is, you put a lot of words. Now, let me paint the clear picture before we go into the subsequent slides. Think about it this way. An HR, let's assume you're applying for a job. Olabisi, please, can you make sure you can help me accept people who are in the waiting room? An HR who is about to review the CV puts out a job application. Now, the job application says, oh, the deadline is in the next, let's say in the next 2 months, right? Now, imagine that over 500 persons apply for that job. Now, this is not an exaggeration. Over 500 persons apply for the job. Now, the HR has to sit down and go through 500 different applications. 500. Now, imagine that is one person. Now, imagine that HR personnel, probably the person is living in Lagos. The person has to jump through different traffics. He has had to fight with conductor on the way to the office that morning. Maybe while he was coming in the morning, it was raining. One Okada man splashed water on his trousers, right? And he finally gets into the office. The lady that used to sell rice that he buys to eat breakfast, she said, Oga, no more 200 naira rice. Rice now is now 400. The guy is now vexed. All the anger is in him. Maybe he has somebody's school fees to pay. Or a landlord is calling him for house rent. So imagine all of those emotions in a typical HR, in the chest of the HR. And the HR sits down on Monday morning and say, let me look at all the applications that came in today. And the first CV they open is your CV. It's one of two things. Is that they are like, why did this person apply? And boom, they just delete your application immediately, go to the next person. So think of all those things as in the mind of the person who is reviewing your application, and you want to give them the least amount of stress. You want to make sure that their job is as easy as possible, that they can see the CV and like, okay, this person meets the minimum requirement. I can call this person for an interview. They can do that under 1 minute. 1 minute. That means you don't want to give them a 7-page CV. 7-page. Why are you writing a 7-page CV? Are you writing the history of your life? Are you writing your biography for them to come and read and like, oh, this person has changed the nation? That is not the case. So your CV should be straight to the point, and it should be able to capture the HR's attention within a minute or less. Now, if we move over to the second part, which is, okay, I have so many things running together, which is submission insight. So we already talked about this, what you guys expect to get from the sessions that we're going to have now. Now, if we move on to the next part, is the ultimate CV goal, right? A great CV does not secure a job directly, okay? What a CV does is it gives you the opportunity to be invited for an interview. That is it, okay? You want to be invited for an interview. So what it is not an exhaustive registry of every career course, every project, every school credentials, everything you've done. You don't have to put everything on your CV. Your CV does not have to have every job. In fact, there are some work experience you should not put on your CV, right? I'll give you an instance. There was a time in my life that I this people like to have like an umbrella and they sell SIM card. They register SIM cards for people, right? I did that as at some time, as a job. I did that for over 6 months. I will not put that on my CV, even though it's something I've done, right? Because most of the jobs I'm applying to does not require that experience. So why am I putting it there? Okay, so your CV is a curated, scannable, highlighted reel presenting relevant strengths, leadership potential, and measurable accomplishment. Take one of those words. Relevant strengths. That means it is not all the things you need to put there. Leadership potentials. Sometimes your CV just show that, oh, this person, if we give this person this job, this person should be able to do it because, oh, we can see in this person's experience that, oh, they are able to manage responsibilities when given to them. Measurable accomplishment. Oh, from what we can see here, this person, when they did this particular role, the delay in the company processing whatever they do went from 2 weeks to under 3 days. That is a measurable accomplishment. The change that happened within a timeline. Okay. Now, cognitive load. Don't complicate your CV, right? Don't put so many things in it. Just go straight to the point, and that's it. Now, before we go further, let me just give you an insight as to what your CV is and what your CV is not. Now, think of your CV as a sales pitch. You are trying to woo somebody, you are trying to sell yourself, right? Sell yourself. Now, if you're to be a salesman trying to sell yourself to someone, what will you do? You will put forward your A game. You put forward your best foot. Anything you can use to persuade, anything you can use to sweet talk, anything you can use to capture their attention, anything you can use to mesmerize them, you go forward with it. That means your CV is not where you have to show humility. Do not be humble on your CV. Humility out of the window. I know there's a part of scripture that says, blessed are the humble. You don't have to be humble on your CV. No, no, no. Your CV needs you to be proud. All the pride that you've harbored since you were a child, point on your CV, right? If you have a first class, put it on your CV. If you did a certification that is very, very important, that says something about you, about your skill set, put it on your CV. If you were part of a company and you did something that increased the sales of the company from 1 million naira per month to 2 million naira per month, put it there. Let them know that you did it. I did it. Okay? Be very bold, be very confident. Everything that you think that, oh, if I put this on my CV, it speaks well of me. If I put this on my CV, it puts me in a better light. Put it there. But of course, as we said earlier, it's not everything you have to put, right? So there's a balance somewhere. But the point I want to draw out from here is that your CV is like a sales pitch. You are selling yourself. So if you're selling yourself, put your best card forward. Now let's move on to the next slide. Now, what is the recommended structure for your CV? Look at this layout plan where you want to have a header block, a professional summary, a professional experience, your education and credentials, and then your skills and leadership. Okay? Now that I've pointed out these things that your CV should contain, that means you want to have your name boldly written somewhere, large, your email, your customized LinkedIn link. You see what I mean by customized LinkedIn link, okay? Now, and then of course, city and country. Now, take note of that city and country. City and country. So when you're writing your address, okay, I think we'll see this in subsequent slide, but you just want to put the major points. My city is Aba, Nigeria. Kaduna, Nigeria, right? Or you put there Port Harcourt, Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria. Don't put number 39, Uweka Road, Onitsha, 1/3 pound road, Aba. You don't need to give us the full list of your, like, if think about it, okay, okay, for security reasons as well. Imagine I see your CV and the first thing I'm seeing is that I see your long address. I can just come to your house and like, okay, so this is the person that submitted that annoying CV. When I go find the person here, let me go and look for the person. That had to exhaust me and write 7-page CV. You already have your full house address. So just put your city and your country and that's it. Professional summary, right? Some punchy 3 to 4 sentence hook. 4 sentences is even too much. Just stay at 3 sentences. Professional experience, right? From your most recent experience to your least, to your earliest, to your latest, I'm trying to find the right word, to the latest that happened experience, okay, in that order. And then your educational and certification, that, we'll talk about those things in more details, right? Your skills and leadership, volunteer history, things like that. Now, you can see here on the right-hand side of the screen, there is some template as to what, a nice CV can look like, right? But we'll see the more details in subsequent slides. Okay, let's look at the header now, the header. So best practices for your header. A CV header is prime visual territory, right? Keep it professional, minimalist, and perfectly aligned at the top of the first page. Take note of the keyword there, minimalist. That means you just have to go straight to the point. Don't put too many things there. That means this is the section of the CV where you just have your clear name. Using bold, right? Make the character in bold. 18 to 22 points for your font size. Your email, use a very professional email, right? Maybe your name is Nkechi Adebisi, nkechi.adebisi@whatever.com. Don't put, for example, coolboy123@gmail.com or nkechisexy@yahoo.com. Why? Why are you using such kind of emails? Right? They will not take you serious. So that is that about that. Don't put your full address, your house number, your streets. Don't do those things. Go straight to the point, your city and your country. At least they know, oh, for the job you're applying to. If the job is in Onitsha, right? And assume you are also in Onitsha, just put there Onitsha, Nigeria. They know that you are in Onitsha. If the job you're applying to is in Abuja, and maybe you can stay in Abuja or you have an auntie or an uncle in Abuja, but then you're in Lagos, you can just put there your location, Abuja, Nigeria. That's all. Don't put your house address. We cannot overemphasize this. Right? Now, see this part here. It says excessive data. Don't put your age, that is your date of birth. Don't put it there. Don't put your photograph. Don't put your religion. Right? You see certain CVs, it will show someone's local government, their next of kin, their spouse, if they are married or they are single. This is not it is not an application for, how will I put it, for who is looking for a life partner. Okay? It's an application for a job. So all of those things are not needed. Think of it this way. Now we're talking about a header's best practices. I think there are some questions in the chat. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So look at the other things you also need to keep in mind is that when you're looking at best practices, right? You don't want to put your local government, let someone who's going to take you for a job, take you in for the job on the basis of your strengths, on the basis of your competency, right? Now, another thing I need to emphasize, it might not be relevant, but let me just state it that you don't know who is reading your CV. You don't know if the person is already biased enough. You don't know, maybe, the person doesn't like someone that comes from Ohafia, or you don't know if the person doesn't like someone who is a Christian, or who is a Muslim, or who is an Ifa worshipper. You don't know any of those things. So why put it there in the first place? Right? So take away those things. They are not necessary. Okay? If you have a LinkedIn profile, put it there. Put it as a hyperlink. I will show you an example of that later on. You don't have to, when you want to put a link in your header, don't just copy a link that has https://www.igbakan@this.com// Don't do that. You can make it neat by including a hyperlink. Just write LinkedIn, highlight it, Control K. It's if you're using a Google Docs, and then you just paste the link there. And then your LinkedIn is highlighted in blue. Okay? And of course, use the active WhatsApp number. Any number you put on your CV should also be available on WhatsApp. Okay? That's that about that. Let's move forward. Now, if we look at the other bits, which is, professional summary. The professional summary should be 3 sentences. Answer who you are, what value you bring, and your direct career alignment. That means your career alignment should fit with whatever that job you're applying to, or that scholarship you're applying to is aiming for, right? Here's an example of a generic CV. Hardworking, passionate, and highly motivated graduates with strong work ethics. Seeking an entry-level position to utilize my skills and help your organization grow. It's a lie. It's a lie. You are not hardworking. You are not passionate. You are looking for money. So how would anybody believe this, right? How would anybody believe that you are passionate, you are hardworking, you are highly motivated? They've never seen you before, right? So all of these things, they know that it is zobo. You are boboing them. There is no truth in this, right? But now look at the other example. Data analyst with hands-on experience, with hands-on proficiency in Python, Power BI, research reporting, experience in translating complex data into decision-ready briefs with a strong interest in international development. Bam! Now, you cannot lie about this one. You know why? Because once you've written all of this here, they will go to your work experience. Let us go and see. Okay. Work experience. I have worked with Fatai and Industries Limited. Okay. You are the data analyst. Okay, correct. What did you do? You made sure that their sales record went from this to this. Sule, copy this applicant's email down. We are sending interview to this one. Like that, sharp. From your professional summary, they've already seen it. They are ready now. This one, we must talk to this one. That is what you want to do. You want to mention your specific strengths. The tools. Look at now. Before going to your work experience, even before going to the section of technical skills, they can already see here that you are good with Python. They can see that you are good with Power BI. They can see that you have converted data sets to decision briefs. Everything all in what? In 2 sentences. But when you tell us you are hardworking, passionate, it's a lie. You are not hardworking. We know, right? We know what you are. We know that all of us are looking for the money, right? But we will not just tell them that, oh, guy, please employ me. I need this job. I need money. I need to pay rent. I need to sort bills. We will not tell them that. But what we tell them, we will tell them about our skill sets, how it aligns with their company, and you would also tell them what some of the technical tools you can use. Okay, so that's that about the professional summary. Now let's move on to the next point, which is on let's move on to the next point, which is on academics versus professional CV. Okay, so please, you are with me. Just give a thumbs up. Let me know that we are there. Let's see your reaction before we move forward. Thank you. Thank you. Olabisi, I can see you. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, Chisom, thank you. I can see you over there. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your strong reaction. Jamie, I can see you. Faith, I can see you. James, I can see you. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. David, you're here with me. If it's for a TikTok, you say, follow my gifters, follow my gifters. Guys, like it, well, I don't have gifters here for you guys to follow. So we'll just focus on the main professional CV. Okay. So now let's go on with the CV. Now, academic versus professional. What is the primary focus? When you're applying for, a professional CV, you're looking for a job, your focus is my work experience. How can I tell them that the work experience that I have, it aligns with what they're looking for? My commercial impact. What have I done in the businesses that I've been part of or the organization that I've worked with and has improved the organization? What are my core soft and hard skills? By hard skills, that means, okay, the technical skills you can do, some of the tools you can use. Soft skills, okay, in this case, probably how you manage with meetings, timeliness, organizational skills, and stuff like that. But for academic CVs, it's a totally different ball game, right? People think less about your work experience. They're looking about your research. What have you done? Okay. Now, in this case, okay, someone might say, I just did my undergraduates, bachelor's, so I only did bachelor's. Okay. I'm nothing but a bachelor. I have not gone further than a bachelor, which is fine. But you did your undergraduate project, right? That's part of your research. You spent about 3 months doing your undergraduate project. That is what I assume. Now, some of you who might have taught before in the past, you also have teaching experience. You included there, teaching experience, scholarly achievements. Maybe you had the best results in one particular course and you were given an award for it. Put it there, right? Maybe everybody got an F. You are the only person that had a C. Let it there, but don't say you had a C. Just say you passed. Others failed, right? But of course, not to put it that way, but talk about your scholarly achievements, okay? Now, standard length. Your CV for professional purpose, like when you're applying for a job, 1 to 2 pages is enough. What is 7-page CV? It is not your biography. You are not writing scripture. It is CV. Your HR is hungry. Your HR is the HR that is looking at your CV just came to work on the Monday morning. Inside hold up, sweating. You have to fight conductor for his change. You now put 7-page. Forget it. You are not getting that job. There is no way. You are not getting that job. Just put 1 to 2 pages. The important points on that page alone, that's all you need to do. Once you focus on that 1 to 2 pages, even the HR that is angry will come and sit down. Okay, let's see. Okay. Nkechi Yusuf. Okay. All right. Straight to the point. Okay. We can interview this one. Fatai. Copy this email down. We'll invite this one. But then they see 10 pages. There's no way. If you have the experience in the world, they're already vexing that overpower. This person wants to kill us. They will just avoid your CV. But for an academic CV, page limit is not there. You can put 30 pages. Why? Because if you have 99 publications, you will put that 99 publication there. All the grants that you've collected, all the conferences you have gone to, you put it there. If you enter 7 pages, in fact, if you are submitting an academic CV and your CV is 1 page, the committee that is reviewing your application, maybe it's for scholarship. Of course, I'm not saying for scholarship now you should put like 19 pages CV. No, for scholarships and stuff like that, 3 pages is okay, 4 pages is too much, okay? Because we haven't gotten to the stage of your career where you need a 4-page or a 5-page or a 10-page CV. For those who are maybe associate professors, assistant professors, their CVs are about 7 to 8 pages long because they have to include a lot of things there. Okay, publication. If you have publication, fine and good. But now, if you're applying for scholarship, some of you might not have publication. So it's okay not to have any publication there. You can leave it there. Okay. If you have done any lab stuff before, you put it there. If there are any things you've done before that is relevant to the stuff you're applying to, in this case, whether it's a scholarship for a particular course or for a particular research, you put those things there. Right. I'll show you some examples towards the end of this in the live review session. Live CV review session, I'll show you some examples, okay? Now, of course, your targeted reader, scholarship boards, university selection panel, professors, but professional CV, your targeted reader is HR, of course, or ATS scanner, right? ATS scanners, that is a automated tracking system, which they use. Imagine HR has, maybe you put a job application forward and there are like 900 applications. HR cannot read all the 900. So you just use some tools to filter out maybe the top 100 CVs, and they look at only those 100, and we'll see how you can manage those cases. So when you have such things that you want to tailor your CV to capture the important words that are in the job application that you see, you make sure those words, those keywords are included within your CV. And we'll look at some examples later on. Okay, so how do you present your experiences? Okay, now some of us, our experience, we don't have plenty of experience. We just have some small experience, but you see that experience. For example, my experience might be that, let me give you an instance now. I did my IT one time during my undergraduate at Intel. And what I did mostly was I was doing photocopy. That was my work. Photocopy, right? They send receipts of the transactions they did in the company to our office, our department. Our work is to just make copies of it and keep in the archive. Oh yeah, Olayinka, collect this. Oh yeah, I'll photocopy. From when I come to the office by 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock till I leave, I'll be photocopy. But there is no way I will write photocopy on my CV. Why? Why will I write photocopy? I just put there on my CV. I was responsible for managing the records of transactions for the organization. Managing the record. How I manage it, nobody needs to know. If I photocopy, they don't need to know I photocopied. Because why would I tell them that? Right? So you want to take the action, what you did exactly, what were you responsible for? What were the specific tasks? What was the precise project you did? Were you in charge of managing the sales records or the marketing team? Right? What was the result? Oh, when I was responsible for the marketing team for the new location that the business was expanding to. And under 4 weeks, we had 500 customers. That is quantifiable results. Timeline, quantifiable results. What you did, the specific stuff you did, what was the outcome? Like that. No plenty English. Don't give them sermon. Don't write story. Oh, I mark register every morning. I do this, I do this. Don't list. No, don't do that. Go straight to the point using this approach. The action, the task, and the results. Shikina. Now, powerful action verbs, right? Some of the action verbs you can use. Use things like you developed, you spearheaded, you designed, you automated, you streamlined. Don't say I assisted with, I participated in, I helped the team to do. No. I manage. Which report are you managing? Right? Tell us the specific thing and tell us the outcome. That's it. And you're good to go. We'll see some examples. Okay? We'll see some examples. Now, limited experience. Now, as I said, right, this whole session is for early career persons, right? Most of us don't have lengthy experiences, right? We're not coming from it where we've done, we have 30 years experience. We are gray hair. We've not gone through that. We are still upcoming artists, right? And one day all of us will blow. But before we blow, how do we talk about our recent experiences, right? So as an undergraduate or recent graduate, you can talk about some of the projects you did during your studies. For example, some of us in universities, we were course reps. For leadership position, you could say you were a course representative. Okay, that's an experience of leadership experience. Teamwork. You guys did project work together. They put you in a project, even though you were the guy that You just come to the project meeting. You don't do the project. Others do it, but you were present there. Teamwork, put it there. You represented your team. You were part of the team. But of course, don't lie. This is not for it. No, don't lie, please. Don't tell lies on your CV, because when you tell lies on your CV and you come in front of the interview panel, it will be one of two things. Either you fumble or they fumble, but they will not fumble, you fumble, because not just you, but you and generations unborn, you embarrass them. Because they'll ask you, oh, you said this in your CV. Can you tell us how? And you're like, which part of my CV did I write that one? Don't do that. Okay? So don't do that. Anything you put on your CV should be true in substance, should be true in value. Okay? If there's anything you've done, maybe you've putting up a blog post, right? Maybe for some of you who for example, use Power BI, for example, right? You might have put up a blog post of how to use a particular a library in Power BI, or how to do a particular design, and you put it out there on, I think, Medium, medium.com, or you put it on LinkedIn, or you put it on Twitter. You can talk about that as part of your independent work, what you did, and you put a link to it. If you are into computer programming, maybe you've written a code for something, no matter how small it is, or you did a project, maybe part of your you did a Coursera or one of these other online courses, and one of the projects you had to do was to develop a code for something, and you develop the code and you put it on GitHub, and you make the GitHub repository a public one. You can put that code link within your CV as some of the experiences you have. Okay, your final project that you did, you can write about it. Some of the things you did, if you did statistical reports, if anything you did, so that's why you can see it's not about what you do. So you have to have something you have done, right? You have to have something you have done, not just write the CV. Put my name. Let me put my name here, my date of birth. If I put my village, the person that read it might come from my village. My brother from another mother. Fatai, we invite this person to interview. No, that is nepotism. That is not hiring based on competence. Even you will not hire yourself. Okay? So, do we have experience? Yes, we all have experience. You just have to sit down and think about, okay, which of my experiences can I write about? Put them down in a paper. Write them out on a jotter. And after I think about it, okay, what is important skill set I can say I had in this particular project? What is important task I can say I did this particular project? What was the outcome? How will I write my English? Don't worry, your English does not have to be perfect. The first time, write the English however it is. Use present tense, past tense, mix all the grammar together. Make mistake. But then you have something to start with immediately. That means you have a template. All the grammar, you put the grammar there, all the error, put it there. Once you are done with that, now that we've put all the grammar, but there's something now for us to work with. It is not good, but it is 20%. Now let us see how I can change it, improve it, to take it from 20% to at least 70%. Then I can use it to apply for this job. Okay. Now I know there are some questions in the chat popping up. Okay. I would attend to them towards the end of this session. So let's go ahead. So after talking about limited experience, how do you tailor your CV? Keywords. You should not use this. You should not use one CV to apply for 99 jobs. You see some person, you say, oh, my brother, I have been applying for a job for the last 6 months. I don't know. Some people are chasing me. They followed me from my village. I'm not getting anything. But if you look at the CV they used to apply for the job, one CV, 30 jobs. You're applying for example, the CV, maybe the job you saw job offer. The job was, say, for a kitchen chef. A chef. Your CV shows work experience, Python programmer. I built 4 websites. How does building website concern cooking? There are 2 different things. So you have to sit down, look at, okay, this job I'm applying to, what do they want? Okay, they said that you must know how to use Tableau. You must know how to do qualitative research. I know how to use Tableau. I did a one crash course in Tableau now. Oh yeah, let me write it there. You make sure that keyword Tableau is in your CV. Qualitative research, you make sure that qualitative research, you find a way to phrase it into your CV. Okay? And then you take the job that you've done, any work experience that you have that is most relevant, emphasis on most relevant to this job you're applying to. Let it be at the top. Let it be at the top. Don't put it at the bottom. Because the HR will go from, okay, I've seen this person's name, okay. This person is in Abuja. Okay, this job is Abuja. Okay. This person professional summary. Okay, okay, okay. They go to the next line, and they're okay. Let me see the work experience. Maybe the job's work experience is they're looking for a sales marketer. That's all. Sales marketer. And your first job experience, teacher, I taught primary one. Why? Why? How does teaching job, how does it relate to sales marketer? Why do you put that at the top? In fact, that shouldn't even be on the CV options at all. So you find the job experience that you have, or not necessarily job experience that you have, any job experience that you have done, as I said, maybe based on your while you were in school, your projects you've done, group projects, anything at all, and include that in the CV. Make sure that anything you put is relevant to the role you're applying to, and let those ones be at the top first. Okay. So that means if you were to apply for a scholarship, right? Your work experience should not be the early part. We don't need that, right? You can focus on your education, focus on the research you've done, focus on your teaching experience, focus on if you've gotten any prize before, research grants, put those there. Publication, if you have any, put it there. Any in independent work you've done, you've written code, you've written one article, published somewhere, put it there. Those ones are important, not your work experience. Because for those ones, that is an academic CV. But for a professional CV, you are telling us you have published one paper somewhere. What concerns me is your publication and the fact that I want to employ you to my company to make sure that my company can make, instead of making 2 million, which make 4 million, you're telling me you published one work. What concerns me is the work you published. Okay? So you can see you have to prioritize. You have to put things in proper hierarchy. Okay? And of course, you have to put the relevant keywords. Okay. I think we are still within time and we are almost done. So just let's breeze through. Let's breeze through. Common CV mistakes. Okay, we've talked about this excessive pages. You just have more than 2 to 3 pages. Sloppy formatting. You don't have a proper margin, no proper spacing. You just list all the things. Oh, I did this. I did this. I did. Don't list. Give us the important points you did, and okay, give us the task or the action, the specific task you did, and the results. Okay, that is the pattern to follow. Now, one other thing I should mention, I will show you the examples that we'll look at during our live CV review. In case I forget, someone should remind me. Now, when you are submitting a CV for a job, let me tell you why most persons miss out sometimes. They tell you that put the name of your CV in this format. Please and please follow that format. If they say put your first name, your last name, underscore, job title, put it in that format. I'll show you one example. There was a time I was reviewing CVs for a job application, right? A company and not a charity I work for. I had to review CVs, and we were looking for just one person, for that one person, right? But 105 people applied for the role. Imagine 105, and we're looking for just one person for the role, right? And how many persons reviewing the CV? There are just 2 of us. We cannot die. How will we look at 105 CV at once? And we still have to go for a normal job. Nobody pays us for it. It's a volunteer stuff, right? So what did we do? Okay, let's even look at each applicant and match the applicant's name with the CV. So, okay, for this applicant, this is the applicant. We put them in the same folder. We do that manually, right? Across the entire applications we received. But you look at the CV that is there. The CV name is CV1. CV for job. You don't know whose CV is that. You don't even know if this CV is for Olakunle Masheun or this CV is for Fatai Yusuf. You don't know. Or if it's for Nkechi Ogona. You have no idea. So the least you can do, if there is no guideline on how you should name your CV should be your first name, your last name, CV. That's it. So if your name is Kanayo O Kanayo, write it there, Kanayo O Kanayo CV. That's all. Maybe Kanayo O Kanayo resume. Write it there. That's all. Don't put CV for job. CV 1.2. CV I may use. My general CV. My CV. Just to let you know, that application we did, out of the 105 applications we received, about 40 already, 40 people, we just screen them out. Why? Because we don't want to start opening the CV one by one. looking for the name, looking for the applicant. So we just say all those ones are the names were not on the CV heading, like not even CV heading, like in the CV name, the format, the file name. We just deleted everything. How many were left? How many we deleted 40? Out of 105, how many is left? That's about 65. Like that. 40 applications gone. Now, in those other CVs, there might be persons who made a first class. There might be persons who had the best results. There might be persons who had wonderful applications for us to go through. But because we could not go through the stress of opening the CVs one after the other, they just missed the opportunity. I don't know if you get the point. So if you are with me, please just indicate that you are with me. So before we move on to the next slide. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. We are good to go. We are good to go. We are good to go. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Follow my gifters. Follow my gifters. If you are there, follow my gifters. Nobody's gifting me anyway, but we'll just proceed. We'll proceed. Okay. So to the next task now, which is formatting rules. Have a particular font and size you use. For headers, use a particular font size. For sizing, we'll show all of those things. Don't worry, we'll show all those things in the live review. Margin and spacing. Don't pack everything together. Let there be space, like white spacing. White spacing. I use the same size of spacing. If between education and work experience, you use one, just press like enter, bam, one enter, and then there'll be space there. When you go from work experience to skills, also press enter again, bam, to keep one space. Don't put one space here, 5 space here, or just sandwich everything together. We don't even know the difference. For headers, you put them in bold. So, okay, this is education section, you list education. This is work experience section, you list work experience. And very importantly, never submit your CV or your cover letter. No, this is not about cover letter, but both of them. Never submit any document as a Word document. Microsoft Word, .docx. Never submit any document in that format. Any document you submit should be a PDF. Portable document format, PDF. Now, why am I emphasizing PDF? Now, imagine you write your CV with Microsoft Word 2011, right? And the person who has downloaded your CV is using Microsoft Word 2023. And there are some fonts you use, some formatting, all of those things mixed together. You then put it, they now open it. All the fine design you did just scatter on their screen. Your education, this way. Your work experience, this way. Your name, just like spaghetti. How come? All because what? You submitted as a document format instead of submitting as a PDF format. So, very important. If you don't take away anything from this session, what you should take away is your CV must never be in document format. You must send it as a PDF. As a PDF, very important. That way it preserves the margin, the spacing, the styling, anything you do, it preserves it. Okay, now we move forward. Global positioning. Okay, so when you are drafting your CV, one of the things you also do is that also put things like social impact. You know, did you volunteer in some stuff before? You know, put it there. Did you have some leadership experience? Put it there. Because let me tell you one thing that's also important is that the HR or whoever is going to invite you for an interview or is going to employ you is taking a risk. They've never seen you before. They don't know you from Adam. And they have to decide that, oh, based on this thing we are reading on this paper, if we give this person this job, they will say, they won't kill me with job for the office. Every day, responsibility. But they are paying you. They are paying. But how would they know that you can manage responsibilities? You can take responsibilities. Is if they have seen in the past that, oh, in this person's CV, you can see that he had done some leadership stuff before. He had been secretary of this. He has been treasurer of that. Oh, he had done this initiative. He had managed this before. Like, this person is hardworking. He can manage this. If we make this one head of this team, he will not complain. He will do the work. Fatai, put this person's name down. Let's invite this one for interview. That is it. But they don't see any experience. They don't see any volunteer. They don't see any leadership. Nothing. Just your skill set, your work experience, and like that. This one like this. Are you sure? Avoid. Next person. Okay? So if you've gotten any awards, if you have your CGPA, if your CGPA is high, even though you have a 2.1, if your CGPA is, for example, 4.1, but it's a 2.1, 4.1 out of a 5.0, put it there 4.1. Don't just write second class upper. Write second class upper colon 4.1 / 5.0. Then as boss is second class, but we nearly reached the top. You get it? We nearly reached the top. So put it there so that they can see those things and they can see well about you. Okay. Now, if you have a LinkedIn, your LinkedIn should complement your CV. So if your LinkedIn says your CV says, oh, you had a job from this time to this time, on your LinkedIn also, you should also show those same timelines. You had a job from this time to this time. Okay. If there are codes you've written, you have a GitHub portfolio, you put it there. If you have a portfolio, if maybe you do graphics design and you have a portfolio for all the graphics you've done, it should be contained in the featured section. If you have a LinkedIn, you see a featured section of your LinkedIn. So that when they go through your CV and they click the link on your LinkedIn, it takes them to your LinkedIn profile. In the featured section, most of those things you said in your CV, they should be able to see them there. It should correlate, it should complement each other. Okay? All right. And your CV bio should, don't put your CV, baby girl, fine boy kings. No, 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 no. I'm sorry, not on your LinkedIn header. Don't put those things there. Just go to if you are applying for a job that mostly is about programming, software, your LinkedIn header should say software developer. Bill, that's all. Don't put there Jesus boy, aka one, Jinodu two, number one, Babalaye, number two. Don't do all of those things on your LinkedIn, right? Be professional with it. Okay. Now, we are already running past time allotted for what's it called? Allotted for this session. So as I said, we're almost done. So what are the recruiters seeking? Okay. So when recruiters look at your CV, they're looking for 5 main indicators to be sure that okay, this person fits this job or this person fits this scholarship opportunity. They're looking at relevance. How closely does the skills you have mentioned there, how does it align to the job that we've put out there? Metric evidence. What are the clear outcomes? If you say, okay, the company sales improved from this to this. If you apply for a teaching job, for example, if you're a teacher in the past, you could say, oh, when I taught the students at the beginning of the first term, the average of the class, in terms of the mathematics score, the average of the class was 48%. At the end of the third term, the average of the class was 65%. That is a clear increase. Always think of any role you've done and think of a way to give a quantitative metric, a quantitative measurement that shows how things went from here to here, how there was an increase, okay, how there was a positive change. Okay, and also if you have done any training in the past and stuff like that, you could also include in your CV, which shows that okay, you're also making effort to grow yourself. All right, so I think, as I said, we've already overflowed the CV mastery session. So we'll quickly go through the live CV review now. And once we finish with the live CV review, we will go into the Q&A. So before I proceed, is there any pressing questions before we go ahead?
Okay, hi, Dr. Olayinka. Thank you so much for the insightful session. So there's a question about, is it okay to add your picture on your CV? Like to add a photo of yourself.
Yeah, just to quickly respond to that, because I said there's a Q&A session. At the beginning part of the talk, we said don't include your picture. It's not relevant. It just takes up space, and you can't really tell the person will see your picture and they won't like you. Like, oh, her face is not fine enough. What is he doing with tribal mark? Reject. So don't do that. Yeah, James, you have your hands up. So let me quickly take your question. What's up?
Hi, thank you so much, Doctor. So my question is, for someone like me, I'm currently doing my master's. However, I'm also vying for scholarship programs, in other program and I don't have my master's degree on my LinkedIn profile. However, I have quite a number of other stuff that I engage in. So while I'm also trying to make submission, is it okay to like just have it on my CV without having it on my LinkedIn? So I don't like, oh, you already have a master's, so why are you applying for a graduate program as well? What's
Okay.
your thought?
All right. So first things first is that it's not always an issue if you have a master's degree already and you're applying for another master's degree because they could be in two different disciplines. That's the first point you need to know. And of course, it could also be that the master's degree, one was taken in Nigeria and one was probably taken overseas. Okay. So, I'm sorry, the one you're applying to is an overseas master. So it doesn't really cause a problem. Okay. So you can list the masters on your CV, right? And you can also list it on your LinkedIn if you want to. Another important thing to note is that people have multiple masters. Okay. I have one of my mentors. She has a master's in public administration. She also has another master's in English and literature, and she was also making an application for a role, for a master's degree for another program in uh, teaching English as a foreign language. Okay, so nobody will say, "Oh, you already have two masters. Why are you applying for the third one?" People have five masters. So yeah, I don't know if that answers the question. So I know
Thank
there's all right, you're welcome, James. I know there are more questions. Let's quickly go through the live CV review. Okay, I picked some CVs at random for us to just review, to just point out some things that can be made different. I anonymize the CV so you see that as well. And then once, I think we should be able to do that under 10, 15 minutes. And once we are done, we would take more questions. Okay? All right, all right, all right. So let me share my screen once again. All right. Can you see my screen? Okay. Please, if you can see my screen, just indicate.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So I told you guys that this is my very first CV that I did as when I was looking for an internship, or just right after my undergraduate studies. Just so this is actually my very first CV. So putting this in contrast to this is my most recent CV I used in applying for a job, like literally just a few days ago. Okay. So yeah. So a lot of things have changed, right? So if you compare this with this, so yeah, I had like two email addresses. Yeah, obviously I just have one email address. I have my LinkedIn here, some GitHub stuff, very brief part of my profile for my research because this is an academic CV. I'm using this for research. I talked about, some of the research appointments I had, um, some recent education, right? Because this emphasis on this is an academic CV, okay? Talked about publications, just straight to the point. And if you notice, there is a line that gives a very clear demarcation. You know, okay, this is all about research appointment. Everything is all about education, okay? And there's a line that separates, oh, this is publication, okay? A very clear spacing, which is what I'm talking about. So they should look at it and say, okay, can just go through it, bam, 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 bam. This is main important stuff, and that's it. Okay. Oh, this is talks, presentations. Okay. Some teaching, straight to the point. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. We'll take this one, we'll not take this one. They just, no, like that, straight to the point. Okay. So let's look at some CVs that I have selected for us to review. And then I would let you guys see what I think could have been done differently in this CV that I will be showing to you. Okay. All right. Can you see this CV I just opened? If you can see it, just please signify, just give a thumbs up, something. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. All right. You can see the CV. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's go ahead now with reviewing this CV. Okay. So mind you, just to emphasize, this is just for us to learn. It's a learning experience, okay? So nobody has it perfectly. And as I showed you guys in the very first CV I made, it's not the very best, okay? So, but it took a while for me to build a CV into its current form. Having had series of experiences, And some persons have told me what to do and what not to do in the past. Okay, so for this person, I can see here, the name normally should be in bold. From what if you remember what I talked about in the slide, the name should be at the very heading here, saying this is exactly who you are, right? At the very top heading. I'm coming, let me open a CV template down that I prepared for this talk. Can you see this document I have opened? It's a Google Docs document. All right, I assume you can see it since everyone is fine. Okay, all right, all right. So just so you know, I'm going to share access to this document once we are done, so you can use it. So it's a Word document. You can use this. You can use the same template. So you just have to have your name, your last name as a header here. But for this individual, you can see that the name is here, which doesn't really stand out. What stands out is curriculum vitae, which shouldn't be the case. You have the sex, date of birth, place of birth. All of this personal information are unnecessary. Okay, so this should not be happening. And this person submitted his or her CV as a docs document. That is a Microsoft Word document, which shouldn't be the case. They also have submitted it as a PDF. So I converted it to a PDF for the purpose of this session. Okay. So this person puts here the schools with dates. I'm assuming that this is a professional CV for a job. So the education should not come first. So after your first bio, of course, what should come immediately is your professional summary. And from what I have stated here, or I showed you that you can put your professional profile here immediately afterwards, okay? Your email and the likes, web page, you put them here as a hyperlink. Now you can see here, once I click on the email, you can see that it gives me the email address. I can see the exact email address. You can change it by yourself. If you look at the LinkedIn, when I click on the LinkedIn, it takes me to exactly the LinkedIn profile. But here, I didn't just copy and paste the whole LinkedIn, this thing word for word. http:/Olayinka Josiah 99999. All of those are not necessary. It makes your CV looks untidy. For your address, just put there city and state. Abia State or Aba, Nigeria, Onitsha, Nigeria, Port Harcourt, Nigeria, right? Don't put your full address. 1/3 Pound Road, Aba. Don't do that. Okay. Now, so this person, education shouldn't be immediately. It should probably be the work experience, if any. Now, the person went on to still provide qualifications obtained with dates, right? So, copywriting certificates, copyright, right? Okay, Crystal, yeah, ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor, for explaining everything. Please, I want to know. I just saw something. You said something about hyperlink.
Yes,
Adding her instead of putting the full address, especially the LinkedIn and the email.
yes,
There,
yes.
there are situations where the applicants will need to print the hard copy instead of sending to the recruiters. Our system is underdeveloped, it's not as developed as yours. It's
Fair
over
point.
there. So the applicant will need to print, then submit to the recruiter. So in that case, don't you think that the email and the LinkedIn address should be written in full? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question, right? And that's a good interruption. So now let me point this out. If it's a CV you are going to submit in hand, right? Think of it this way, right? It's understandable that the email address should be there, because if you look at the email address I did, okay, okay, let me see if I can pull that up. Okay, no, I can't pull it up, but don't worry. For the CV I showed you, which was my CV, I had my email address as it were, right? So this is Olayinka Ajayi at gmail.com, for example. That is what is written here. They can see it, right? But then there's a hyperlink that shows where it goes to. Now, for the LinkedIn, here's the point now. Anybody who wants to look at your LinkedIn normally, they don't need, I don't know how to put it clearly. If they need to see your LinkedIn, it can easily be clicked and submit, and you can just click on the link here and go to the profile immediately here. But for the email, yeah, don't just write email, right? Put the email address in full. But of course, create a hyperlink for it. But for other things like your web page, your GitHub repo, now imagine you have to put every link, right, as it is. Your LinkedIn, put it as it is. How many lines it will take? Your GitHub, how many lines it will take? Your web page, how many lines it will take? Right? Imagine you put all of those things there. What happens then is that the space you need to put the other things of important parts of your CV are already eaten into. So for CVs you're going to print, no problem, fine with your email address. That's the most important thing. But if you want to print your CV, the email address is the most important thing. The LinkedIn and the other things, I don't think they're that relevant. Because if they are relevant, an application you're going to submit digitally, right? Digitally, I strongly recommend that you use a hyperlink and not copy and pasting in it. Okay, that's just my recommendation. Yeah. All right. So thanks for that question, Krista. Let's move over. So this person has copywriting certificates. Copywriting in what? Okay. Who issued the certificate? What was it for? Those things are not there. West African examination certificates. Why? Why putting your white certificate? Like, what does it say? Like, would it make any difference? Somebody seeing your white certificate and they will employ you? No. So why is it there? Your NECO. Why is it there? Right? First school living certificate. It's not necessary. Okay. Why should it be there? Now, this person has merits award. So I don't know if you guys remember the arrangement, right? For a professional CV, your name as a header, professional summary, work experience, and some other stuff. I think I'll share the slides after this as well. But just to have like a guide, right? Follow a particular template, demarcate it. You can see that for this individual, there are no clear demarcations. Okay, there's a clear demarcation, there's a white spacing. But now look at how many pages of the CV. Now this is page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6. The HR is not going to go through this CV. Okay? Now, you don't include your next of kin, right? That is not necessary. Okay? You don't do that. Your referees, you don't put referee information. Now, most of the job applications you make these days, you do them digitally. And for most of them, there is an online form where if they need referee information, you'd have already entered that in your the online form. If it requires your marital status, the online form you used to apply for the job would already have requested that. So it doesn't have to be in your CV. If they need it, they will request it in the job application online form, and you put it there, not on your CV. Okay, don't do that. Interests and hobbies. You don't need to put your interests and hobbies. Why put your interests and hobbies? You like cooking. Okay. You like cooking? Yes. Will you come and cook in the office? No. Right? So don't do that. Right? Don't do that. Membership of student association bodies. Now, what this might show, it might show that this individual has probably participated in some form of leadership role, which is good. Which is good. Look at it. Local officer at this, right? It shows some form of leadership role. A member of Jets Club, secondary school. I don't think it's relevant at this point. Most of the experiences you want to put at most should be, or rather, at the latest, should be your university experiences. Don't go far into your secondary school, your primary school. Don't go that far, okay? Just stay within your university. I assume you did certain things. You belong to some organization. Even fellowship in church or student fellowship, you can put some of those things there, right? Sorry, excuse me. So that's one bit about that. Community services, digital health writer and advocate. Okay, digital health writer about what? What did you write about? What did you do? How did you do it? So you can see it's very plain. Workshop and seminars attended. Digital health writing course. I don't know if you guys see. Okay, now what would the person do differently, right? That's probably let's say what the person would do differently. I would say that the individual should have said, okay, you want to talk about workshops and seminars. I'll probably want that this person should put them under professional courses section or professional courses and certification, right? And if you want to have that section in your CV, there should be more than 4 or 5. And put the most relevant one to the job you're applying to, right? If the job you're applying to have nothing to do with medical writing or has nothing to do with writing at all, right? You don't include it there. Okay? Participated in a webinar workshop in diabetes awareness. That will be perfectly fine, right? If you are probably applying to a job that has to do with health-related stuff, it shows that, oh, you've gone for some webinar. But now, don't just say webinar workshop. Who hosted the webinar? Who organized it? Who coordinated it? Is it some relevant? Is it okay? Was it organized by the WHO, for example, or UNICEF? That might boost your CV if you put it there. But just participated in a webinar workshop in diabetes awareness. Okay. Okay. Does that make any difference? So yeah. So let's leave it at that. Let's move on to another CV I have planned out. Yep. So I'll be opening on that CV now. Just bear with me. Okay. All right. Let's open this CV. So I'm opening the CV now. Oh yeah, my computer is a bit slow. I have so many things running at the same time. All right, please let me know if you can see the CV I just opened. Okay, I assume. Okay, thank you for indicating. I assume you can see it. Thank you. All right, so look at this person now, right? So this is a very nice CV to start with. The person has his or her name, has the header, and then I think these are some titles, right? Remember I said anything that can give you an edge, put it there. So if I just put a ACIPM, I don't know what ACIPM means, right? MBA, I know what MBA means, Masters in Business Administration, right? So I assume that is the case. And now, but the person has a professional profile. But if you can notice here, let's see how many sentences. 1 sentence, 2 sentence, 3 sentence, 4 sentences, right? 4 sentences. And it already looks quite verbose. But let's see what the person did. HR data and reporting analyst with 3 years of experience. So the person already tells you that, oh, I do data analysis, I do HR, and I've done this for 3 years, right? So at first instance, that catches me. Okay, all right. This person has experience. Experience ensuring accuracy, integrity, and strategic utility of HR data across global workforce. I don't know how to feel about this because the integrity and strategic utility, I don't know. It says a lot, but I don't really feel it because trust me, I can't really vouch that, anything you probably did there was accurate. I can't really see that there, but no problem. But the person said, experts in developing automated dashboards and reports using Power BI and advanced Excel in driving decision making in HR. Perfect, right? Now, before I even go to the skills section or the experience section, I know this person knows how to use Power BI. I know they know how to use Excel, and I know they've used it for HR-related tasks, right? The best right here, strong foundational understanding of HRIS principles applicable to platforms like SAP, Sussex Factor. Nice. So if this person is applying for an HR role and they present this CV, I'm willing to give this person a chance. But if the person is applying for some scholarship and they submit this CV, I will ban the person for 2 years from applying for scholarships if it's scholarship I'm boosting, right? Because this is not an academic CV, right? So you want to make sure that your CV matches with whatever role you are applying to. Okay. Now, this person just went straight to the point, put their core competencies. HR analytics and story reporting, HR data integrity visualization, SAP, data visualization. Now, I have no issue with this listing of core competencies. You see why? You see why I say I have no issue with it. But first of all, in terms of formatting, it would be best that this thing should be listed horizontally, like line by line. Just put it horizontally. HR analysis and this in semicolon or comma or space. The next one, so that it doesn't eat up more space. If you look at it now, the CV is 3 pages. And we advise that for best practices, CV shouldn't be more than 2 pages for professional CV. Okay. So you have this as an issue. Now, here's the point I want to make. You list all of these things. How do I believe that you really know how to use Power Query? Everybody can list anything. In fact, you can list here Python. I can write here C#, Java, Python, Anaconda, which one again? All the snakes in this world. You put it there, right? But the problem is you have to show that. So now, what I'm expecting is that since the person has listed all of these things here, I'm expecting that if I go through all of these experiences the person has listed, it will tell me that they've used it. For example, now here, they've written here, in this experience of HR data analyst, I can see here that the person has used Power BI, right? To track key people, MPI, blah, 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 right? That is the only place I have seen Power BI. Now, the person said they've used what? Tableau before. If I go through this, their work experience section, and I cannot see where they've used Tableau, I would not believe that they've used Tableau before. They just listed it there. Anybody can list anything. So you just don't want to list anything. If there are any skill sets or any tools you've used, find a way to incorporate it into your work experience. See here, they said, oh, they have done blah, 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 using SQL and Excel. It makes sense, right? Now, I don't want to criticize this for that. This is actually a very good CV, right? It's just one of the points I'm cherry picking. And the other point I wanted to say is that this particular section is very verbose. There are too many things here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 stuff. Really? You are doing that. Oh, now this man wrote here, administered structured pay grade, supporting promotion framework, contributing to 15% improvement in retention. Very good. Quantifiable outcomes. You want to see that, okay? So you don't have to list everything, okay? You can just put some of the major points. You can just put some of the major points that you need to put on your CV, okay? So this is a very good CV. Education, nice. Certifications. As we said earlier, you don't have to list all certifications. Find the most important ones and use those ones. But this person used a very good format. They talked about who gave the certification and the certification in what, right? Data Camp. Okay, I assume that Data Camp is a recognized organization. And they gave a certification Associate Data Analyst Tracks, SQL. Nice and good, okay? It also shows that the person is making efforts to self-develop, okay? So even though they graduated in 2021 in their bachelor's degree, they still did something in 2025 in terms of self-improvement, okay? And of course, they've done something SQL. I can see it here, and I can see that as part of their work experience, they showed how they use SQL and Excel during their job. So I'm more than encouraged to invite this person for an interview, right? Just based on this. So I'm just trying to see that you guys can pick the important point. So I'll look at one more CV and then I will take your questions. Okay. So let me see which of the CVs. Okay, I'm going to look at this CV. So mind you, there are some other CVs I was sent. So okay, okay. Let me look at two more. I'll open these two for a specific reason. Okay, just be a moment. Open here, and then this other CV as well. Okay. So let's start with this CV. So you can see here for this particular person CV, it's just one page, a one-page CV. I have no issue with it. Very fine, very brilliant. But first things first, don't put your picture. That's number one. This is the name, very bold. But if you look at it now, the name has taken up everything. Like it has taken up the entire first page. And then they have this side panel. Now, what you want to do, if you have a side panel like this, you want to put your core skill sets in your side panel if you decide to use this template. Okay? Don't put your date of birth, don't put your gender, marital status, nationality, origin. Don't do any of that. Okay? Your address, city and country. Okay? Don't put your full address. Okay? Your links, put your links as hyperlinks. Okay? Don't copy and paste your links here like this, as I recommended. It makes your CV look untidy. Now, this one says here, let's see this professional summary. I'm a computer science graduate with a strong proficiency in artificial intelligence, Python programming, cloud computing, and data science. I recently developed skills in workflow automation utilizing tools such as Airtable, Notion, and Zapier to streamline processing and improve efficiency. I'm committed to continuous learning and applying technology to driven solutions. See this last sentence. I am committed to this thing. Is Bobo. Is wash. You are lying. You're not committed to anything. Just tell us what you can do, what you have done, and the skill sets that you have, and we can work with that. Okay. So the extra bits are not necessary. The person says he's a computer science graduate. Fine and good. But it says that with strong proficiency in artificial intelligence, anybody can write it. If you tell me that you have used artificial intelligence to do so, so, and so, and so, and so, as your opening paragraph, it hits the point. And which artificial intelligence? Okay, artificial intelligence is very broad. Did you use a ChatGPT, for example, here, to just put prompts? Tell us you use ChatGPT to write things. We'll know that ChatGPT you use. What is artificial intelligence? I don't know. It seems somehow. You say you have proficiency in Python programming. To do what? What do you use Python and do? Right? Right? You have experience in cloud computing and data science. To do what? See, it's not enough to tell us you have experience in this and that. Tell us in that opening paragraph what you have done with it, what you have achieved with it. Put it there, straight to the point. Bam, bam, bam. What we said in the PowerPoint presentation. Use that to your advantage in crafting your professional summary. Technical skills, okay. Python and SQL. That's the same issue I had, as I said earlier, with the other person. It is not enough to list. You can list, but I will not believe. It's a lie. How do I know you know how to do cloud computing? You have to show me what you've done that shows that you use this particular skill set you've listed here. So now look at person put here education. Okay, education, all right, that's fine. Training and certification, generative AI, clinical lab, okay. Data science, something Lagos, okay. Google Analytics. The person has only put here their training and certification. They have not put here any experience. That was the issue I had with this CV. There was no experience. Now, you might think maybe you're a recent graduate, but it doesn't mean you have no experience. You do have an experience. What experience is? You did your final year project. There was something you did there. When you were learning this Google Data Analytics, this particular one in 2023 in Coursera, you did some projects, you did some assignments as part of this particular stuff. I assume that those assignments, you put them on your GitHub portfolio, you put them somewhere online, you can put a link to it. Developed clinical in this, using this, put a link to it, right? SQL for data analytics. You use SQL to do this and that and that and that. You use this dashboard to query this, put a link to it, right? Generative AI. Fine, there's nothing bad with generative AI. Use generative AI to do this and that and that and that and that. Put a link to it. Let us see. Show evidence. Otherwise, let me use our local slang. You go explain, tire. No evidence. Right? You can list all these things here. I can also list it too. I can write here that I was the president of Nigeria in 2023. I can put it here. Right? So it is not enough to list. So workings. I think that does it for that. So this was class CV. I wanted to point this CV out as a very as a tale of caution. So I think we have some persons here, so let's just admit them all in. So as a tale of caution, what I want to say is that for this particular CV, this person just more or less, oh goodness me, I think the person just went to ChatGPT or some other platform like that, just putting some CV or putting some stuff and just say, create a CV for me, right? And ChatGPT just listed and listed. If you notice the formatting, why is this here? Why is this here as part of the formatting? If you notice, there's no consistency. The headings are not in bold. The spacing are not properly done. And then towards the end, when I follow this CV, there are a lot of now, mind you, I'm only assessing this, okay? So I'm not crucifying or vilifying anybody, okay? So bear with me in case you might be the culprit, okay? So you just went through ChatGPT, just put some stuff there and just say, okay, just make this into a CV for me. And then it just did right. You copied and pasted it into a Google Docs document and you submitted it as a Docs document, okay? And then reference, and then now it shows here show quoted text. So when I saw the show coded text, I almost felt that this person just copied from whatever was on ChatGPT and just pasted it on the document and submitted for the CV. As an HR person, I would not go through this CV. I wouldn't even bother looking at it. Okay, so you might have the experience, you might have everything, but you might not present it properly. So as I said, I'm going to share this template with you guys. You can use this template to your advantage to craft your CV. Just put the relevant stuff there. change whatever you need to change. I gave some guidelines of what you should put, what you shouldn't do, what you should, stuff like that. So you can use it to your advantage. And I think this is the Q&A session. I know we've already gone past time by about 3 minutes. So I'll take your questions now. I don't know who is handling the question session for us, Olabisi. Let's take the questions
Hi,
and yeah,
Dr.
thank you.
Olayinka, thank you so much. It's been an amazing session, and I must mention that even I myself have had a lot to learn. Thank you so much for taking your time to review the session, to review the CV, to point out things that we should look out for, things that should be included in our CV, things that, and I think that you pointing out, you basically using beginners CVs to review, like makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much. So for the questions, we currently do not have any question in the chat at the moment, but if anybody has a question, they can actually raise up their hand. I will allow them speak. So if you have a question, please you can raise up your hand, or you can make a reaction, or you can also drop them in the chat if you don't want to talk
Okay, so this is a
before
Q&A
we
session.
round up.
Before we round up,
Yes, this is yeah, before we round up the
all right,
session.
Crystal, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead, Crystal.
You are currently on mute, so we can't hear you.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know. I was muted. I said
That's
thank you
fine.
so much for the explanation. Like this is my core. This is my core. This is where I want to. So what's the question is that the about colors in CV. I've been when making CV for people. I've been receiving I've received in the past some criticizations. I believe that's the word.
Yeah.
Criticisms about having colored CVs. So what do you have to say about that, please?
Okay. Let me start with the caveat that although I am not an HR expert, right? But I have reviewed the number of CVs for some job applications. I have no issue with the colors, provided they are not too flashy and they do not distract. Okay, so that's the first bit. Okay, not too flashy, they do not distract, and most importantly, it doesn't make it difficult to read. Okay, so remember the CV itself is like a template for selling yourself. Okay, so what can you do so that whoever is going to receive your CV and review it, and they have 300 other CVs to review, you can make the work easier for them. So if you use colors, fine and good. But also remember that some of these CVs, as I said, there's also this ATS formatting, ATS stuff, automated tracking systems. So you want to make it easy that if they should pass your CV through some software, because of the formatting, you might have done it using Photoshop or CorelDRAW, or whatever it is, or anything, some other tools like that. It doesn't make it difficult for it to just pass. Pass is a PARS, to pass your CV and extract the important points. So if you use a very standard template where it's just a normal Microsoft document, just blocks, by blocks, I mean, okay, education block, this block, that block, that block, that's it. It makes it easy. It just goes straight and straight to the point, right? But if you use colors, if you use fancy designs and everything, it might take away from the substance. It might appear that, oh, this CV is not serious, right? It might sound that way, but it might like, oh, what's it saying? But that's the truth, right? The people who review the CVs, they're human beings, right? And they come with biases, they come with different sentiments, they come with so many things in their heads. And you want to give them one less thing to have a concern about your CV. That's it. Can I make this CV as simple and straightforward as possible? And the person just look at it, get important points, and say, oh, yeah, I can invite this person for an interview. I think that does it, yeah. I don't know if that's answered your question. Yeah. So, but
Oh yes,
before,
yes. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank
all
you
right,
so
thank you,
much. It
sir. So
answers.
before we go, this recording will be available on YouTube. You can check Olabisi's YouTube channel. The name is Olabisi Olaleye on YouTube, but if you just search this particular handle, you probably get it straight away. And you could also check my channel as well. You can follow us online. Olabisi posts certain things about careers. I, for one, if I see scholarship opportunities, I'm more than happy to share them. I share them on my LinkedIn account as well. And I talk about some other things that interest me on LinkedIn. And so does Olabisi as well. She also writes things about Power BI, data analytics, which she does. So you will find that handy if you follow us online. As I said, this recording will be made available on this YouTube channel. So if you check there, probably in a week's time at most, you should see it. Yeah, Krista, your hand is still up. In case
All
you see,
right. Also want to mention, thank you so
yeah,
much, Dr. Link. I also want to mention that I'm going to be sharing a feedback form right now. Please leave your feedback. Would appreciate you. You can click on it and have it opened on your Chrome and respond to the form later. But please, we need your feedback. Would appreciate you. We want to know what what other session you would like us to, bring to you, and every other thing, what you've gained from this session, and many more, please. This form would really, really help us to prepare for the next session that we know will be beneficial to you. Thank you. You can go ahead,
okay,
Dr. Lenka. I just
yeah.
wanted to
So
mention that I've already dropped the form now.
all right, thank you very much, Ola. I think Emilina has a message here about what about those of us whose CVs didn't get reviewed? Would there be another session for that? So there would not be another session for that, honestly. But if you had already submitted your CV, emphasis on already submitted, right? If you had already submitted your CV, we do have it. And if you do want a review, maybe just a comment or so on it. I honestly think that what we've already shared here more or less, captures that you're able to use that to clarify whatever you need to clarify about your CV. And Mr. Olabisi is going to share this slide with everyone. I don't want to promise that, oh, you can send an email and we'll review the CV. I don't want to make that promise, but you can shoot your shot. If you send an email to the email that Mr. Olabisi used in reaching out to you, and you do want that particular CV you already submitted to be reviewed, you can let her know and we'll see if a big if it's something we can entertain. But as I said, the slides should be enough to guide you to, and of course the templates we've already provided as well, or we will provide. She will send that as an email to you. The link to the templates will be sent as an email alongside this form again, so you can always have the link to the templates and use it however you wish. Yep, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. It was really a pleasure having you all here. Thank you once again, Dr. Olayinka. Thank you for the insightful session. And I hope that in our next session, when we decide, we're going to see you all here again at the stated time and date. Thank you all. And please look forward to my email stated by Dr. Olayinka. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.